xo sungula ndzi rhandza ku khensa aka vahlaleri va Elite Mentoring Program loyi a vulavulaka Inezana PM no lava ku ta mi byela vahlaleri leswaku ka siku ra namuntlha mi ta tsundzuka leswaku hi vulavurile kwala xikarhi ka vhiki leswaku hi ta va hi ri karhi hi hlangana na dokodela Ntimbani VW lava nga ta va ri karhi va hi humesela a rivaleni malungana na xiyimo xa swa politiki kwala Afrika-Dzonga. Mi ta tsundzuka leswaku a hi khale ngopfu a ku huma aka mihlawulo leyi a hi ri na yona se va ta va karhi va hi humesela a rivaleni ngopfungopfu malungana na ku twisisa ku ri loko hi vulavula hi coalition government na leswi va nge i GNU kumbe Government of National Unity hi va hi kha hi vulavula yini va tlhela va hi byela na hi ku ya hi xiyimo xa swa politiki leswaku ka sweswiwani la Afrika-Dzonga hi kongome kwihi loko hi ri karhi hi languta timhaka ta swa politiki. Mi ta tsundzuka ku ri van'wanyana va vula ku ri sweswiwani xiyimo xa swa politiki leswi xi nga yimisa xiswona a xa hambana ngopfu na xiyimo xa swa politiki hi ku ya hi matshamelo loko hi languta lembe ra 1994. Mi ta tsundzuka leswaku hi minkarhi liya a ku ri minkarhi ya Nationalist Party leyi a yi karhi yi fuma leyi a yi initiate kumbe ku tirhisa maendlelo ya apartheid leyi loko se ANC na mifumo leyin'wana leyi a yi ri kona minkarhi yaliya yi nga kota ku va yi lwela ntshunxeko ku kondza loko hi ya tikumela ntshunxeko wa hina hi lembe ra 1994. se dokodela Ntimbani hi ta va hi ri na vona kwala amoyeni sweswiwani hi xivumbeko xa audio tanihiloko ni hluleke ku va kuma xivumbeko xa ku va hi va kuma hi video kambe hambiswiritano ni pfumeleli leswaku hi nkarhi lowu nga hetiki mbilu vayingiseri ni tsutsumela ka vona. You will understand that some of the situations are beyond my control but anyway I will make sure that I come back with him here online and you will be hearing him in the audio format so that we can proceed as we have promised as a channel that when it is Friday we shall be broadcasting live talking about the current matters including political issues. And once more as I add on the row, I have said that we shall also touch the issues of art, the issues of music and all other stuff that can help us to get more information. So keep on watching and listening to this channel because we shall make sure that each and every time we give you the updates. So as we are proceeding like that, let me go to Dr. Ntimbani so that we see on what to do. Let me go by this way.
This is Elite Mentoring Program. I am Inezana PM in this wonderful Friday where we are going to look at the issues of politics here in South Africa. So today here online I have got Dr. VW Ntimbani who will be helping us when we are looking at the political issues of South Africa as a whole. So Dr. Ntimbani, you can greet the viewers of Elite Mentoring Program as we are speaking.
Thanks a lot for having me. Thanks for the opportunity. And I greet you all, the viewers. Thank you.
Dr. Ntimbani.
Yes.
When we are looking at the situation of the politics in South Africa, what more can you tell us about the political landscape after the recent election that has taken place?
Yes, I think as far as my observations are concerned, the political landscape has taken another shape in South Africa. It seems as if there is what we call a replacement theory. You know, people really, they have voted and the results can tell us, they seem to, you know, give us another message that people really, they need change on the ground. They are not really in need of political speeches, but they need people who can deliver. Hence, as we can see, the results are, they have dropped drastically compared to the previous year. So it shows that indeed people really need service delivery more than anything else.
Mm-hmm. No, we really appreciate the way you are taking us through this matter. So as we are proceeding like this, some they say that the way in which the system of politics or a political landscape is like back in 1994. So when we are checking on that, what is your take, Doctor?
I think it alludes to the fact that the elections of 1994 were the elections of transition, the elections of change, exchanging of power. Hence, as even now, as we can see, the long reigning political party, particularly the ANC, almost lost all the power. So that on its own can tell us that the emergence of MK, BOSA, and other few political parties, it was a message that people need people who can deliver on the ground. They don't need people who are there to enjoy their reign, but they need someone who can really establish some significant changes to amongst or to the people of South Africa in particular.
So, as to put us clear concerning the issue of Jacob Zuma, they say that he is no longer allowed to be back on the parliament or in the parliament. So, what more can you tell us or to clarify us based on these matters, more especially who is not politically inclined?
Yes, for someone like Zuma, it was due to his what can I say, due to his imprisonment or his sentence that was handed down a few years back. So it was laid down that since this man, according to the clause of the Constitution, a man who was sentenced or who was imprisoned is not supposed to or is not eligible to be a member of parliament since his hands are still dirty. He has to wait for 5 years until he is now cleared. So in other words, the President Jacob Zuma, or the former president, is someone who is more of not yet cleared. If I may to say that his hands are still tied. He cannot, according to the Constitution, be part of the member of parliament and execute all his powers, if I may say.
Or meaning that if he was not arrested, he could be the member of the parliament as his party participated well on the previous election.
Yes. His hurdle there was the fact that he was once sentenced, and it's something which is recent. It has not yet lapsed or expired after 5 years. Hence, it was brought back to say, hold your horses, enough with your over-excitement. Things are this way, not the way you think they should be. Hence, he's still a leader of that particular party. He calls the shots. He's the one that everybody has to listen to. The only disadvantage or the only deprivation is the fact that he will not be part of the MP or not part of the parliament, if I may say.
Okay, no, I understand. As we are proceeding, Dr. Mtimbane, there is an issue after the recent election, if you can simply just look. We are talking about the issue of GNU and the coalition government. Someone, once more, who is not politically inclined would like to understand the difference or the distinction between GNU and the coalition government. So how can you brush us on it?
All right, yes, thank you for that question. As for the GNU and the coalition, okay, let me start with the GNU, the Government of National Unity. They are both coalitions. GNU is another form of a coalition. It's just that what characterizes it normally the decisions that are taken within or in its confinement there is that they start in the national level of the government. So the GNU, it normally takes place in parliament, in the national level. It starts there. The decisions that are taken will affect also the provincial as well as the local, because they are taken in the national level. So the GNU there, it means that it is a multi-governance whereby political parties that won in the elections and they have seats in parliament, they are eligible to be part of the government of national unity, to work together with the other political parties, especially the one that was overwhelming in ANC in particular. So the other ones will join forces and say, okay, here we are going to work together, give us what we can do in order to improve the lives of the South Africans. That is what it's all about. Normally, GNU, it is normally established when there's a crisis or an emergency in a country, or if there's a war. That is when normal GNU will be established in a country. But yes, even now it is there because they believe that there's a crisis in the country in terms of the cost of living is high. There was an issue of load shedding. There are a lot of issues in South Africa that they believe that this GNU will be able to solve. Like we'll not forget the issue of unemployment and that. Now, coming to the coalition normally, also it is a multi-party governance, but normally in the local government, because we know that the government has three levels or spheres. There's national, there's provincial, and there's locals. But the coalition that is commonly associated to in South Africa, this one normally has to do with the local governance, which is happening in the municipalities, where when people vote, the ones that will have a majority of votes, particularly the ones that are already in parliament, it's not just any other political party as such. It's just that on the ground, on the national, in the local level, they will still participate. Even the ones that are not there, but they may get a chance again to share some powers in the local government. So this one will be focusing on the local governance, like in the municipalities. This one is the coalition that normally happens, that was established 5 years back in South Africa. Does it work? There are a lot of pros and cons, just like the GNU. There are disadvantages and disadvantages. It is not perfect, just like this coalition thing.
Yeah, because if you still remember, even during the 1994, they have tried to implement this thing of GNU. And if you can also look back at the South African history, during the period of 1930 and 1940, they have also tried to implement the very same kind of thing. So do you think up to so far, when they are planning or as they have planned to execute the very same kind of thing, do you think or what do we observe normally when we are looking at these things compared to the life of South African politics?
It normally does not work, since also in 1994 it failed to work. Why? Because, it is more of a witch hunt in most cases. Some political parties would believe that it is more of something that proves a point to other people, that a certain political party fails. Hence, this other one was able to implement things and they work, knowing that our own people, they habitually, like to shine or to outshine others. So if you are going to put us together and we work together, then it means there's no I, but there's we. So GNU is all about we, not I. So some people will not really understand that, to say, we don't want to be associated with we. We want to be associated with I, so that when we go to the people on the ground, we will tell them that you saw we were able to deliver this and that as an individual party. So again, it does not work because it is a compromise. GNU is a compromise because you have to compromise some of your principles or some of your conditions or the policies that you believe in order to work together. For example, the DA does not really subscribe to land expropriation without compensation. So the ANC does, the EFF does, the MK does, which is why these other political parties are not willing to be part of the GNU. If they are part of the GNU, it means they have to sacrifice some of their policies, and which is bad for them because they want to shine. They still want to sound relevant to the people of South Africa. So it might not work again because the GNU, whatever decisions that are taken, there has to be first. They have to discuss first. There has to be unanimous decisions. There have to be dialogues, that take place. It's not, you cannot just rise in the morning and say, we want this to happen. You first have to sit down and you discuss. If you're not agreeing, there's a certain clause, like right now, there's a certain clause that governs the GNU. If you are not agreeing on a certain matter, it means it must lead to votes.
Referendum.
Yes, there have to be votes that will take place. If it is 50-50, they will come up with another way to ensure that whatever decision that is taken works or it does not work. So everything is all about dialogue, and it's going to take time. You and I know that even in a church, if a pastor is not really authoritative at some point in a way, if he is too much democratic, nothing will work in that particular church because people in nature, they cannot exercise democratic rights like 100%. There has to be someone at some point who will just command them on what to do. But if it is all about laissez-faire type of leadership, then it will not work. It has to be at least at some point authoritative. That's why even now democracy is not working in South Africa because there's too much freedom. Anyone can do anything at any time. There has to be somebody that is authoritative who will say never to this.
So when we are still there, Dr. Ndibani, I just want us to look at the following. If you can simply just look at the execution of this GNU.
Yes.
I mean, is this thing not going to affect the forthcoming election which we are going to have?
It might affect to the greatest extent, given that, like I said initially, that there are some people who like to shine, who want to be seen as heroes. As you can see, that even right now there's an issue between DA and ANC. What is the main issue? The main issue is that whatsoever the dialogue that they have in private, the DA is rushing to the media and publish whatever that was discussed in camera, which now is causing the ANC to panic. Hence, they say there are letters that are circulating right now that Ramaphosa is saying to the DA, no, stop using correspondence, you stop using media when we discuss something, because these are the issues that are still being discussed, yet you are rushing out there and you tell the media whether you agree or disagree with certain issues. So those are the issues that will affect the elections, because there's someone who is a witch hunt, someone who wants to be seen as a hero. If you can remember, like in the post during the elections or during the campaigns, there were some posts that were saying, Pulusa South Africa, or Ponisa South Africa, or Save South Africa. So someone wants to be seen as a Superman or as a hero or as a heroine. Hence, the elections will be affected because someone will say, we saw you were working so hard to make sure things work, we're going to vote you. So it is a threat to the ANC if the ANC does not really, it does not make more laborious efforts to establish some service delivery on the ground. People will say, this ANC is a waste of time. Let us put Zuma in power. And there's a threat like that. Even EFF can be, or any other political party can be. People are tired on the ground. They want a replacement of somebody that can deliver.
I know, we really appreciate it. This is Dr. Timbali, VW, political analyst, professionalist and educator. So we really appreciate Dr. Timbali for having you here on our program today.
No, I appreciate greatly, profusely. I thank you so much and everyone for listening.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.